Welcome back. This is Baruch at the Tikkun Elevator Kollel. So for those of you who are really curious about what's going on in the RASHASH, so am I, trying to find it out. So one of the things, all we could do is the RASHASH is a different language. It's not the language of, it includes obviously the language of the Rav, because it's based on the Rav. But by the same token, it's got its own language. So the first thing we see here is this concept, and I could write it out better. It's called cold summer. So what we're interested in when we pray and when we learn is to try to take this aleph, which represents the word or, and mask it in different ways. Or this or is infinitas in infinity, and clothe it, as it mask, clothe it in different kinds of levushim, but they have names. So you take the light and it's wrapped in a muach. That muach is wrapped in it's something which is called the Talit Hagadol. Perhaps we'll have a shir on that, but I don't know. That Talit Hagadol is wrapped in the Lamed Hagadol, and on the very outside there is a kli. So the Rav is always, the RASHASH is always showing us the oros. We have to find, in our job, which I was saying to myself that I really don't understand what the word kavana means. I don't know, so with all of these different things that the RASHASH is showing us. That's the concept called cold summer. But this is the idea of the light being wrapped in 4 different ways. Now, let's see, I'm missing something else. Here it is. Now, there was something else that I introduced. I don't know, I think maybe it's too big for this screen. But let's try to get it up on it. This is a picture of what's called Naranchi. The light is not just a singular light. The light is a light with lights inside of it. So it's the names of the lights that are composed light are Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chaya, Yechida. So we understand that the most basic part of a human being, or what comes into us, is our Nefesh. That's what keeps our bodies going and so on and so forth. But we also breathe, and there's a Ruach in us. It's a different element. From the Ein Sof Baruch Hu, there's a chelik called the neshama, which is inside of us. These are all different aspects, like we said, of light, but we're going from the bottom of the light to the top, we're getting in the middle now. Now we're going to go to the top. There's what's called the chaya of the Naranchi. The chaya of the Naranchi represents a makif. It's an or makif. And we're dealing right now in our subject with the tzitzis. And the tzitzis represent something that we wrap around ourselves. That's the talit and so on and so forth. In the RASHASH and in the Rav, there are a lot of different kinds of references as to how we know this, but a lot of it is over my head. And I think one of the reasons I try to understand them, and that's not really understandable for an Ashkenaz Baal Tshuva who's trying to understand this. So, chaya is a makif. It's too strong of a light to be able to actually go into. We keep using the idea of zeranpin, but it's the same thing like going into us, because we're like a little small zeranpin down here. And then finally, the less yud, which is the concept of yechida. And yechida is a light so pure of the Ein Sof that it can't be processed at all from the inside. It can't go in at all. In the early parts of the Yotzvos Chaim, we see that the Ches actually makes an attempt. That is, the Chaya perhaps makes an attempt to go in, or it goes in because it follows along, but it's too strong to stay, and it goes back out, becomes a makif. The Yechida is never that way. Yechida is too far away. The light needs to be very, very distant. That is, from the object of what it's shining on, which is us. Or zeranpin, we say this in different kinds of ways. Now, let's go back over this, and God should help us to be able to understand what's going on as best as possible. I'm thinking I'm going to go a little bit more like this, and figure that those who listen to these shiurim can either listen to them, or if you want, you can make them bigger. So you could probably find a way to make your page bigger and look at it better. So he says, I'm just going to go over some ideas. Now, let's look at the images. That's the way I'm just starting to learn how to try to teach this and not try to learn it. I think the first thing we should do is look at the contents of the page rather than read the Rav. So first that's what I'm thinking I want to do now. So let's see what he has. These are the picture of oros. All right, this is what oros, they come doubled. Okay, there's a female, maybe, and a male. And it starts out with Keser, Chochma, Bina. I said it, did I say it right? Keser, Chochma, Bina, Das, Chesed, Gevura, Teferes, Netzach, Hod, Yesod. Now notice how the lines are in, that is, these oros are in lines, 3 lines. The concept of 3 lines, one who's listening to this year should know this concept. Then it comes down here, we have Moching. Now remember, Cold Soma? The oros are wrapped in Moching. So the Moching here this is what they look like. This is the Hub Chug. The Moching are called Chochma, Bina, Das, which is 3, but Das is split into 2. One part is the Chesed de Das, and the other part is the Gevuras de Das. So this is the Hub Chug, the Chochma de Abba, Hub Chug, the Bina de Abba. So this is what they look like. These are the Mochim. This is wrapped in this. Hub Chug, the Chug de Abba. So this is the Hub. Then it comes down further. The lights come further down. Hub Chug, the Chochma de Ima. And it goes like this: is the Abba is on the inside, Ima is on the outside, because that's the way it is. Abba is always inside of Ima. And these are the Mochim over here for Ima. And they look a lot, well, they're different. They're different. Now we come over to the next page, and we look at what? These are Keilim. Because what happens is that, remember our drawing here, Cold Summer, you want to take the light, wrap it in the moach. Now these 2 are left out, the tzadi and the lamed. It's very common in the RASHASH that he doesn't include them. Sometimes he does. So he says, so it would be wrapping the aleph in the mem, and then wrapping everything by all the rest of this. And ultimately the Keilim. So that where are these lights going to go? They're going to go into Keilim. Why do we need Keilim? It's like a light bulb that's sitting there waiting for electric. And here is the electric on the right side, and on the left side we're seeing all this electric and how it's moving. And again, it moves in the concept of Cold Summer. So he says these are the Keilim of Chochmah, Keilim of Chesed, Keilim of Netzach. That's the right line. Then we go to the left line, and this is how we do it. We go right, left, center, right, left, center, right, left, center. Then we have the Gimel Kli of Bina de Zah, Gimel Kli of Gevura de Zah, Gimel Kli of Hod de Zah. All of that, which we had on the previous page, is going to fit into these Keilim. Remember, that's the idea of Lavush. Well, how these letters come about, how the RASHASH knows this, is a much higher level than anything I could imagine. I'm just trying to figure out what a kavana is. But he's showing me these are the kavanos. That is the light fitting inside of a lavush. The light sitting inside of a moach. The moach then is sitting inside, as we say, of... let me see where, back to my Cold Summer, the tzaddik the tzalim and the lamed, the lamed, which is a lavush. This is the tzaddik. This is the lamed. And this is the Keli. So all of those, this ore has got to be clothed in all of that, and that's what we're talking about, but we jumped to the Keli. Then after that, I'm not sure what this is about without going into it more detail, because that's not where I want to be today, but we could see what it is. This is the name Sag. It's the number 60, excuse me. This is the name Ma. It's the number 45. So each one of these is 45. 10 times 45 is going to be 450. So he says that, what's the gematria of Talis? A Talis is 400, 410, 440, 445, 454. I think that's what it's right. Let me see. Try it again. Toph is 410, 440, 449, and 5. It's 554. 454. Excuse me. This is 450. So somehow he works it out that it comes, let's see what he says. V'hayechidim, v'hayechida. That Tzal Meranaz. Okay, so he brought in the Yechida, the Makif, the big Makif. Shehem Bechinas Yud Shemos Ma. There, this Yechida is this concept. This is your concentration. This is what we have to, kavanah, we have to think. Shehem Misbar Talis. It comes a gematria of Talis. Yikavi Lacham Shek L'or Makif, the Kol Hayud Spheres, the parts of Anal, the parts Sufi Anal, the Zer Antben. V'heim Bechinas Or Makif Hagadol Hayasher V'hu Bechinas Talis. That's the concept of the Talis. Let's read it again. It's an Or Makif, the great Makif. So the Talis, the big Talis, is a concept of an Or Makif. Let's go back on to the next page and I'll see where we're supposed to be actually. Okay, this is where we're actually supposed to be. Let's look at the page. We're going to try to do the same thing, to try to understand just what's on the page. Now try to fit it into an whole idea that we understand we're going through cold summer all the time as we're looking through these different things, and what winds up in a Kli, and the Kli has a tremendous ability to be able to diffuse the light or to contain the light. Because all physicalities, and this is something everybody probably knows or should know, all physicality comes from the lack of light, not because there's more light. So the less light there is, the more physical something becomes. Until you actually have no light, that's the dead human body. That's a person that's a whole other subject, but that's what it is. This is that when there's no life, no possibility of it. So look what he has in the thing. He says this is based on I guess it's the Muach called Chesadim and Chachma and Chesadim, the Ima. And it's Yaku Ekya. Yaku is 21. Ekya is 21. It's the number 42. 42 is the concept of things going up. Let's take a look at it. This is a Shilov. Shilov means a combination of names. What to do with it? The only thing I can think to do with it is look at it. Yud K Vav, right? That's Yud K Vav, but he has it spelled out in a milui. Then he takes the next name, is Ekya, gives the milui again, Aleph K, and then the milui goes like this. I said it wrong, so I'm going to say it again. I said it wrong. I really made a big mistake. Let's go back up to the top. It's not Ekya. I misread it. It's Aqua. Now, Aqua, I don't know what to do with it, but here it is. It's 21, and Aqua I think is 26. Let's see, it's 6, 11. No, it's 16. Aqua is 16. 6 is 12, and 5 is 17. Wow. 17 and 21. Does that make any sense? 17 and 21. 21 plus 10 is 31. It's the number 38, which doesn't mean anything to me. So I don't have a place for it. This is what he says it is. Then it goes the Yud, K, Vav, and then the Aleph K, and then it's Vav K like that. Then again, Yud, K, Vav, but he changed the Vav. There are 3 different ways to write the word letter Vav. You can write it Vav, Yud, Vav, Vav, Aleph, Vav. Well, then there's a second way to do it, Vav, Aleph, Vav again. Then finally, it could be Vav, Vav. So, like I say, the limud here is figuring out what's going on in these letters. Why they appear in this combination, not sure. Maybe I'll never know. Maybe I have to just accept the fact that that's what it is. Now he says this was the Muach Chuch, which I'm sure I've never heard of it before. So chuch, I just said it's going to be chochma and chesed. This is the mula bug. It's bina and gevura, the ima. Now, what it is, where it comes from, well, we have explanations, and Mitzvah Shem will see it. Much bug, the ima, is these letters, Aleph K Yud, okay, 16, and the name Akko, which is the number 12. 7 and 5 and 1 is 12. So then we show like this. Aleph K Yud, Aleph K Vav. 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 Now he says this is the Muach Chub De'ima, which is Chochmah Bina De'ima. So his use of the phrase where he's combining, and he's saying the Muach, you could have a Muach of a combination. There's a combination Muach, I guess he's saying, is going to be Yaku Aki, 21 and 16. And it's going to go like this. Yud K Vav, Aleph K Yud. Yud K Vav, Aleph K Yud. Yud K Vav, Aleph, wrong. Yud K Vav, Aleph K Yud. Yud K Vav. Notice the Vavs are changing and the Hays are changing. Now he says that this is your kavanah. So I don't know what to do with that, but let's keep going on. The next one says Gimel Kli Yesod of ZA. So all of this light and whatever it represents, we're going to read the RASHASH now. It's going to wind up going into the Gimel Kli of Yesod of ZA. This is all going to the Yesod of ZA. And for the RASHASH, for the sake of the RASHASH, you have to know that there are Gimel Keilim here. Gimel Kli Yesod of ZA. So the Keilim always come in threes. Now, let's see, where was I? I guess it was over here. Let's read what the RASHASH writes. I think we could come down lower now. So he says, Yekavi Lahamshik Ha'aretz Hatzitzia Shebizman Beis HaMikdash. Now here's a concept that he says there were special, the tzitzis from that time. Shehu HaTechelis. Vehem Daled Shemos Yaakov. The three different names of Yaakov. Yaakov 3 times. Shehem Muach Chochma Kefulim, which is the Muach of Chochma, double Muach of Chochma. V'shezorim im Muach Chasadim, and you weave it together with the Muach of Chasadim. That's what he said. He called it Choch. The Ima, Shehem Daled Shemos Aqua. Vayidech v'al yadam nishlamim hamochim anaz the chochma the ima. This, whatever this was, it's mashlim, the mochim of chachma the chochma the ima. Let's go back over, look at this again. Notice the shaluvim. So I think this is probably what the kavanah is supposed to be, but this would take, a long time in a shul, unless you did this many, many times. You got used to it, but then by that time it's not fresh or clean. So when you learn something for the first time, which is what I do, it's, it's in a pure form, but after a while it starts to get mixed up with other things. So the yotzim ha-oros anal, so these are now oros, hanaz. Mu'uravim in atzitzios shebizman hazeh, and you mix them up with the tzitzis of this time. V'hem daled shemas Aki. So here's Aki. You see the big letters. Aki. Shehem Muach Bina De'ima. Kafulim doubled. They do it twice. V'shazorim Im Dala, and you weave it together with the daled shemas of Aku, the Muach Gavur De'ima. So you're taking the left line. Remember, we have a right line, left line, center line. You're taking the left line and you're combining the elements of the left line. So that's the Imadika part. V'ikra mochim shehem daled mochim, the chub, the Ima. So he says the root of the basic part of the mochim are the daled mochim that are in, well, so I don't know how we got daled, but the daled mochim that are in the chub, which is the chochmah bebina, the Ima, Yekavin oisam b'shuvolos mishulavos, have a kavana in regards to them, clothed, umisparim shanos. And misparim and their count comes out to be the shanos, the years of the Chai and Melech, the Za, I have no idea what this is. That's my problem. Of the lifetime of the Melech the Za, the king of Za. Now, I don't know what that means. But I know that I have a root from Rabbi Yaakov Hillel. Read it 3 times. I read it once. 0. So let's go to the next one. Maybe we'll do it a second time. So that was the first question. Chub, I guess, is... he wants to say that there's a male-female aspect of Chochmah and a male-female aspect of Bina. I'm not sure how we got the Daled Mochim. But Chub are 2 Mochim. But at any rate, this is at 4. 2 which is 4. The Ima. So that's what we're doing. So Iker HaMochim Shehem Daled Mochim the Chub the Ima. So the Iker of the Mochim. Yekavein Oisam, you should have this idea. Mushulavos, tied together. Umisparam, and their count, if you count them up, it comes out to be shanos. Shanos is 756. So what does that mean? This is not 756. So I'm not sure. Chai HaMelech. Umisparam shanos Chai HaMelech Nizam. So in situations like this, where we're getting to something, I'm not sure what this is, what it's all about. I mean, maybe this does add up to the gematria of Shanos. Actually, I'd have to take some time to really try to do that. And we're out of time. But at any rate, that's the hint here, is that this, I guess if you add them up, because Aleph is 111 by itself, you have 4 of those, 444. So it would add up to some extent. I'm not sure how you would do the whole thing. Well, let's go on to finish out this page. Then it says V'yordim kol mochem anaz. So now all these mochem that we have coming down, they're maluvish. We talked about that in the Kli. B'shlish elyon to teferes. It goes for the area of the chest. They call it the chazer, alamala, up above. So he says anaz b'shlish elyon to teferes desa. V'nisharim heim Sham, and remains behind. Is that what it means? Kanu, the number 156. 156 oros. The tzorach Leah, for the need for Leah. So how did we get to Leah here? Leah is understood at this time. We're dealing with katnas, which means that the nook is in the back of their armpit. So therefore, Leah is the top part of the nook, from the neck, let's say, so to speak, down to the chest. That's where Leah is located. It's an area of light called Leah. V'yordim kol hamochim anas, v'shlish elyon to teferes. He means from the chest upward. Dezer anpin, v'nisharim sham, And in that place, which is opposite Leah, you have 156 lights, the Sorach Leah. Okay, so he says this is what the Shlish Elyon of Tiferet ZA looks like. Okay, we're still working with it. We're almost done. V'shar hataf reish oros. So they're missing here 600 oros. We had 600 plus 156, which is 756. Yekaven lahamshichem the Yesod of ZA. This is what you ultimately want to do, is you want to send them down into the Yesod of ZA, and Misham lahamshichem the Rachel, and from there, the Yesod of ZA is opposite Rachel. And they're there to bring a Rachel is also another name for Malchus. So what you're seeing here is a panoply of lights going up and down. This is Baruch Fleischman learning the RASHASH.